This episode is brought to you by the wine for bodacious gals like us.
Be bold, be outspoken, be bodacious.
Welcome back to Poddy Talk,
The podcast where we shit talk ourselves.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor.
And today we have a skincare episode. We talked about beauty in a couple episodes ago, so I figured it was time for skincare too, because I have a lot to say about skincare. What about you?
I feel like I have a lot to say about skincare, and I also feel like skin is such a sensitive topic. I would say for women specifically, not to take men out of the equation, because I know that men are also sensitive to their skin, but I think women, especially growing up with acne, like it's just, I don't know, I think it's something we tackle a little differently.
It is interesting. I do see both sides to it though, because I feel like back when I was struggling with acne a lot more, I always felt bad for men who didn't feel comfortable wearing makeup because that was less normalized at the time. So I always felt like, thank God, at least I'm a female and it's more quote unquote
so
normal,
true.
which obviously is not the case.
I even remember when my brother was in high school, he had pretty severe acne, and my mom would be like, hey, you can use this like concealer to just like, feel more confident. And he did actually, like he used like just regular makeup just to like feel more confident, which I'm glad it kind of is more normalized, but I agree. It's like women at least are lucky that we can just like...
Yeah, well, it's almost like this shame that if you're using makeup, it's like feminizing, which it can be if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be at all. It's literally no different than just using a skincare product or applying lip balm because your lips are dry.
So true.
No, it is very interesting, and it's something that I struggled a ton, and I feel like some of it was on camera and documented because I think I had probably the worst acne of my life when I was about 16 to 18.
Right.
And it was weird though, because growing up, I would use Proactive as a like 12, 13-year-old because I saw all those advertisements. And like, remember those infomercials of like...
Isn't that when Justin Bieber was their
like
spokesperson?
Katy Perry and like...
It was so many famous
Julianne
people.
Hough
Julianne Hough, she was always one of their spokespeople.
Yeah, so I remember, me and Courtney would be like so obsessed with Proactive and we would always do it and we just like were so into it. But it was weird because I didn't really have acne at that time. It was more just like, I guess, your skin changing because of puberty and I got more oily skin. But I never had like acne as like a 13-year-old or anything. And then it all just hit me at like 16, 17 and it was
crazy.
So almost like debilitating, which sounds so silly because it's funny now I can look back and go, oh, Jaclyn, it was just skin, who cares? In the moment, it like literally was like, I felt disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's so
also
sad.
Easy to say now, oh, it was just skin because now you have perfect skin.
Yeah.
So I think it's all hindsight's 2020 when the problem is fixed. But it would be like similar, like let's say you gained a ton of weight when you were 15 and then if you never lost the weight, you'd be like, oh my God, I hate weight.
Right.
But if you lose the weight and then you're like, oh, I made a progress, it's easier to be like, oh, it was just weight.
It was no big deal.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's kind of a little bit of like my skin history / where my journey was. So that way when we dive into products and stuff, maybe that will be like a bit of a takeaway.
Do you still have more oilier skin after Accutane it?
Well, yeah. So I'll get into that a bit more. But basically, I always had more oily skin as a teenager. And then more acne prone, but also sensitive in the sense that if I would touch my face, I would like get a red mark from like physically touching it. Or if it was winter, my face would get chapped and like windburn very easily.
Right.
So I always had more sensitive, like kind of problematic skin, but it didn't really reach its peak until 16, 17. And then we got a whole story to get into. But what about you, Tor? What's your skin type? Want to let everyone know where you're starting from?
I don't know if it's changed. I don't know. I don't know. I think I was lucky in the sense that I never dealt with acne in the way that other people do. I definitely had hormonal acne in the sense, like especially in high school, it would just be like, that time of month, and then you get those,
cystic little
kind of like
babies.
Cystic painful acne like spots, but that's always what it was. It was like a single spot on otherwise clear skin. So I always honestly felt really lucky, and it's not really something I ever really second guessed. I definitely took it for granted, just knowing that I didn't have, problematic skin. So I think with that, I just have always been pretty confident in my skin. However, I will say I think it changes over time. I used to have more normal skin. It wasn't necessarily dry. It wasn't necessarily oily. But now I feel like, and I don't know if I make it worse with products. Maybe I do, but sometimes I feel more oily. Sometimes I feel more dry. Kind of depends on the time of year. Like I think I get really dry in the winter. I don't know.
Were you always into skincare as a teenager, or did that kind of come with the job a bit more?
Yeah, I don't think I was into skincare as much as I was into makeup, but I will say I was always very strict about washing my face, which I'm glad I was. Like there has not been a time where I would ever go to sleep with makeup on, even in
I
high
agree.
school. Yeah.
I
Like I
agree.
was really good about removing it. But even if that just at the time was like a simple like Cetaphil cleanser from Shoppers, like it was never it wasn't like an overly complicated skincare regime. But I always remember definitely moisturizing and always washing my face. So
Yeah.
I made those habits stick really early on. So I'm thankful for that. And then I also think like birth control later, once I got older, that probably even regulated those like monthly hormones even more. So now it's like usually food that messes up my skin.
Same. I find food is so noticeable. Like, and I know people say if it's from food, it should take like a week to show up in your skin.
Yeah.
But I can tell the next day if I've been eating like super oily, like kettle chips or something like that. I wake up the next day and I can have.
I know, it's
acne,
gross.
like, all over.
I know, it's gross.
But,
it does make you think like, oh God, I just want to eat like whole foods and
Oh my
like
gosh.
healthy smoothies.
Well, there's
and
definitely something to be said, I think, for eating a variety of like fruits and vegetables and getting your nutrients and being healthy in that sense. But this kind of ties back to more of my like acne struggle and my journey, because I used to get so frustrated because when I was 16, I was fully vegan at that point. And I remember everyone saying, oh my gosh, when you go vegan, when you cut out dairy, when you
your
do all
skin
these
will be
things,
amazing.
your skin is going to be the best skin you've ever had. And my
Right.
skin progressively got worse and worse and worse. And it felt like it was what was so frustrating. And I find anyone else who's had acne might understand this, but everyone is giving you so much advice and it's almost like frustrating. And I know it's coming out of a good place, but people will be like, oh, have you changed your pillowcase?
I know.
Oh, have you tried this product? Oh, have you like washed your phone? And you're like, dude, I've done everything. Trust me. I just have bad
know.
skin. Like I need like major help. And so that was a little interesting too, because I don't think I really like shared my down moments as much on YouTube, because I was doing YouTube at that time, but it was like so
depressing.
yeah, like it was just so bad and I didn't know what to do and I felt like at a loss. And the only other option that I saw, like I had seen so many different dermatologists, and
It also just makes you not feel pretty, if that makes sense. Like I feel like it's like distracting. Like that whenever I feel like I have a pimple, I feel like it's the only thing people can see on my face.
and this is what's so weird, and like this is how,
And I know that's not true.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. This is how we always think life revolves so much around us, because I feel the exact same way. If I have one break, I'm like, oh my God, like I feel so bad about it, which is so dumb, because if I look at anyone else, whether they have one pimple or a full face of crazy acne, I don't ever like think of it. I don't think anything of it.
Me neither.
Like I don't.
I know.
And yeah, so I don't know. And it was really frustrating because it feels like there was no like answer. It felt like everyone was just trying to like get me to spend money. And not that I had any problem. I was literally like, I will spend $5,000 on anything if you tell me that it would make me have clear skin. That's how desperate I was. But I remember I went to go see like this top dermatologist even here in the city.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like the person to like go to,
I think
whatever.
you've actually told this story on the podcast before.
Oh yeah. And like I went there and I was just so underwhelmed. She was just like, buy my products, buy this. And then I also,
and it, of course, didn't work.
no, and then she's like, do a chemical peel, do blue light treatment. That chemical peel was the most traumatizing experience literally of my life. I would never in my life get a chemical peel again because of how traumatizing that experience was.
Wow.
And it didn't even work. So I was like, felt like I was throwing money left, right, and center and nothing worked. And everyone was just trying like to make me get into another gimmick or something. And I was like, guys, I'm drinking my water. I'm eating my fruits and vegetables. I'm not eating dairy. Like, what more can I do?
Yeah.
So it was really frustrating because I felt like the only other thing to do was to go more of the medical route and go see a doctor and go on Accutane.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was really avoiding for a long time. And to be fair, I feel like maybe I had an unhealthy viewpoint of, I guess maybe like more of like the medical industry at that time, in the sense that I was like trying to be like a purist and be like, I didn't want medication. Like I wanted to like not put anything into my body. And
Do
I think
it your own way. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I think that comes out of a good place, that I was trying to be aware about what I was putting in my body, which is obviously good, but it's also, at the end of the day, it is a medical condition and I did need help, and there's nothing wrong with being on medication for that. And of course, know the side effects, do your research, and like be informed, but also there's nothing like, it exists for a reason.
No,
people
of
go at it
course.
for a reason, right? So I kind of
It is funny how there is still, because we were chatting about this in recent times, because my sister, it was like in your version of a low and was like, okay, I'm finally taking that step to go on Accutane in just the last month. And it is funny because even she went through that whole idea. Like, it's the process of accepting that it's actually normal to go on medication if it's going to help you.
Yeah,
I think we all like to think that we can fight our own fight and that nothing, like, we got to do it the
natural.
long way
Yeah.
and the hard way. And it's like, okay, but if this is literally exists for this reason to help people, why not?
And I think that goes with the same if anyone's dealing with like mental health struggles too. Like, there is like still, I feel like a weird stigma about,
agree.
oh, I don't want to go on medication. That's like the last resort, or not.
We got to get rid of that, guys.
Exactly. It's just like not, and I understand being cautious and in covering all your bases, but
well, yeah, there's a
also no
difference
shame in
between
it.
being like ignorant and educated, but I also think that in that world, once you've had those meetings with your doctors, it usually is the last resort. Like you're
Totally.
not running there when you have one pimple saying, I need
And
Accutane.
honestly, I remember going on it. I will speak all of the praises about Accutane. It was the best experience of my life. And not that there wasn't side effects. And I made a whole YouTube video back in the day talking about like some of the negative parts of it.
Yeah.
But overall, it was the best thing for me. It not only
life-changing.
Oh, literally. And it sounds, again, so silly because, and this is coming from also, I was, as a teenager, a very confident teenager. Like I wasn't someone that was, I've never even really thought about any insecurities. Like that just wasn't the type of person I was.
Yeah.
And it turned me into the worst version of myself dealing with all that acne because I was trying to pursue makeup at that time. I literally thought no one would ever want to have me touch their face because I had acne and they would think that they would get acne or like that I was dirty and like it was this like weird kind of shame. Like I just felt gross and that's like truly
that's
the
terrible,
worst feeling. But yeah, no, going on Accutane was the best thing ever. And I was so annoyed actually that so many people scared me out of it for so long because I remember all I would say is, I just wish I went on this 2 years ago.
I know. And you said that advice to my sister too, which was you're going to be like, why did I not do this a year ago? Why did I not do this 2 years ago?
Because you hear all those horror stories and
sometimes I also like my real issue.
Extremes.
You hear the extremes and my issues too is that with skin, why do we have this idea that if we change X and Y, that it's going to equal perfect skin? Like you going vegan and you drinking a ton of water does not necessarily mean that your skin type is still going to be perfect. Like there are underlying maybe clogged pores that just simply can't be changed by drinking more water or by being vegan.
Yeah.
So it's like we just need to accept that like we can't control everything, I guess, and that it's okay to ask for help.
Oh, exactly. And yeah, no, it was like the best thing ever. And I feel like Accutane is always going through weird cycles. Like I think technically when I was on it, it wasn't called Accutane because there's been like lawsuits and all this. Like you know how a lot of medicine just relabels itself every couple of years.
Right.
So whatever, it's isotretinoid. That's what the actual like medical ingredient is.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm so like I get so excited for people, which sounds so weird, but like when I was talking to your sister, I'm like, this is going to be the best thing for you. And it's almost like what we talk about too. Even we were talking about this with birth control. Like it is almost not a placebo effect, but if you have people around you that are also on similar medication, that
have we told that on the podcast?
I don't know,
think
but
so.
we can speak to it though. But it is there's something to be said for that. Having people with positive experiences around you going through the same thing.
I agree. The whole birth control situation was that when I first was going on it, when I was in university, when I started dating Adam, I went to the doctor and they said, what birth control is your roommate on? And I obviously knew because she was one of my best friends and it's just something girls talk about. So I mentioned it to my doctor and she said, great, I'm going to give you that one. And I was actually, I think that is a comfort. I was excited by that because I was like, yeah, like I had no underlying health issues. I had no like, I didn't need to be on a specific one.
See, I feel like that would have almost made me more nervous though. I would be like, you're not personalizing it to me. You're just picking what my friend.
It didn't really need to be. Like she was like, what do you know about it? She asked me what I knew about it. I knew quite a bit about it because I had asked my friend about it. It is kind of the one I wanted anyways at the time. It just, she reiterated the fact that like, basically the whole sentiment is that if someone around you, someone close to you is already on that, there is this like positive sense that it will do the same positive thing for you. Like I know that sounds backward. It's kind of a mental game. No, it's not necessarily true.
But it's like anything like, yeah, of course there's going to be like caveats to that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm saying, hey, Tori, you're going to love this lipstick. You might have never thought of trying that lipstick and then you tried it and you loved it because I recommend it. Like kind of that like positive word of mouth.
And you also have like the trust and the tie to the person that's already doing it. So yeah, it could be any product. But I feel like these health things we take more seriously because if someone we love has gone through it and they've taken it, then you're like, okay, I can trust that like it's okay for me too.
And I think that's the best thing to do is like talk to people around you and see what they're going through, whether it's something for skin, birth control, anything. Absolutely. It's like there's so much insight also in just talking to your group around you. Of course, seeking a medical professional is obviously what you got to do.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I do think having conversations with people in your life is like the best thing to do.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the reason actually why I ended up going on Accutane. I was talking to more of a family friend who had gone on it and they had said they had the best experience ever. And again, it was life changing. And I was like, okay, fine. That's like, I already knew I wanted to do it, but I needed that final push.
I just needed one person to tell me.
Yeah. So I am the biggest like Accutane lover. I mean, I do always joke around because there still is a part of me that is like, oh my God, was it damaging that I was putting such a high concentrated vitamin A in my system for so long?
Right.
And I do wonder like, when I'm 80, am I gonna like have this weird condition? They're gonna be like, oh, did you take Accutane in the 2015s? You know, and I'm like, that was me. So I don't know, but the reality
also,
is,
like,
my quality of life has improved so much more because I feel just so much more myself again, which that is like honestly priceless.
It is. If that rubs 6 months off, what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
What are you gonna do at that
It was
point?
so funny. I remember. Well, it's funny. I feel like I was just reliving all of this because I was talking to your sister, and I was saying like the worst parts of it, and I will go through them right now because I do want people to be aware that are listening. One is a big commitment in the sense that I was getting my blood taken every month for probably 2 years, which wasn't the biggest of deal, but definitely was like a commitment for a day each month to do that and go check it back in with my doctor. Another side effect that I experienced, and I feel like I experienced most of the most mild mild symptoms. And that was that I had obviously very dry skin. I would get like kind of scaly hands, which was really weird. And
dry hands or soft?
Like scaly, dry hands.
Okay,
but then
dry.
It was really weird. I don't understand. And I had never heard anyone else going through this, but it would almost be on a cycle. My hands would get so incredibly scaly and dry, and then they would almost like shed off.
Like peel,
And then it would be the softest baby skin I've ever had, and then it would get scaly again.
Weird.
So it was this weird cycle, right? But I was just constantly marinating in different lotions and balms, and I had Bite Agave lip mask on my lips 24/7. That saved my life. There was this really thick face cream from Lush that I just smothered my face in every night. And that was the thing. I always had this rule too, because I remember hearing everyone say how horribly dry you got. And I had this rule in my head: if I was going to go on Accutane, if I ever had a moment of feeling like, this is going to sound so silly, like chapped lips. Like, do you know if you're ever in bed and you're like, oh, my lips are kind of dry, I'm just gonna stay in bed, or like one of those moments? My rule was that I always had to go up, go get it and do it because I didn't want to let myself get that painfully dry.
Like too dry, yeah.
So I always went if it was the middle of the night. Like, I mean, I had a lip balm in every pocket at this point.
Right.
And despite doing all of that, I had like Joker smile lines of almost like, it was almost like cold sores kind of, but it was like my skin had ripped open because it was so dry and papery.
Yeah.
So that was annoying. My nose would bleed. My bones would be kind of sore because it was so dry. Like my back would be sore, and I would have like muscle stiffness.
Yeah.
Just because there's like no lubrication in your body. Like you're just dried out. Like think of the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob is that dried out sponge. That's what you become.
Wow, that's so interesting.
But the positive is I had no pores for 2 months.
Right.
0 pores. It was like baby skin.
Do you feel like you have to drink more water? Like, does that even help?
I don't know. I was always really good about drinking a ton of water. I don't necessarily know if like
specifics, like it wasn't.
If that actually has anything like to do with it. But yeah, I always kept hydrated to also kind of help.
Interesting. Here's a question for you. If you, for God forbid, for some reason, acne returns later in life for you, would you go back on it?
In 2 seconds.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's kind of what happened. So I was on Accutane for maybe just under a year. It's weird. In the moment, I would write down every week my updates. I had like this ongoing journal and diary to like keep track. And I also did it for the YouTube video too, so I could document everything accurately.
Yeah.
But now looking back, I'm like, all the dates and all the things are kind of blurry.
Right.
It's like, you look back, you're like, oh, it was great. And I kind of forget some of the road bumps.
Yeah.
But I went on it for, I think maybe about a year at first, and things were great, smooth sailing. I went off of it for maybe 2 months.
Okay.
And I specifically remember I got invited by Glossier to go to LA. And I was like, oh my God, that's the coolest brand ever. Like, they're all about like no makeup, perfect skin. And the week before, I started to get breakouts again, and I was off Accutane now for a month and a half, and I was like, oh my God, is it coming back? And I remember being in the hotel in LA and being like, oh my God, my skin is bad, and I'm here with Glossier. Like, that's so embarrassing.
Aww.
And I had called my doctor, and I go, something's going on, like my skin is getting bad again. And she's like, no questions, we don't want to undo all that work, we're just gonna put you back on it.
Wow.
So I went back on it for like a short little like stint of maybe 4 months, and then it's been smooth sailing ever since then.
So altogether then, less than a year.
I think probably a year and a half, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Spread out over time.
Yeah, over about 2 years.
Right.
Something like that. But
wow, it's
knock
such
on
an
wood.
Interesting journey, like for sure. It does, again, like, yeah, makes me grateful that I never had to go through it, but definitely is eye-opening. Mm-hmm. And you just wonder, like, I know so much of skin and I don't know enough about it to speak to it, but I feel like it's so hereditary. I feel like it's actually based on, like, if I look at all of my siblings and then I look at my parents' skin, I can make like direct ties as to like how our skin makeups have like my dad had really, really tough acne growing up, and my brother definitely has his skin type and has the exact same sort of like growing pains with his acne. My sister has way more of my dad's side, like vibes anyways. Like even her like eye color and just like little things that I don't have, she has from like the Webster side of the family. And like, yeah, her skin is way more like the Webster side of the family, whereas mine is like way more like my mom's side of the family. And like I have qualities and things that are way more like my mom's side. Like it's just so interesting.
No, I definitely think there is a lot to be said when it comes to that. That is almost honestly what made me feel worse though about it, because my parents, neither of them had acne.
Oh,
so I was like, am I just this gross monster that has that? Like,
how's your brother's
sense.
skin?
His skin is pretty decent. He, I feel like, is less like diligent about a skincare routine, but if he just does the right steps, his skin will be perfect.
Have acne.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, got it.
But no, I definitely had like this weird outlier of like annoying, problematic skin. It is weird though. I do think about it often though, because I was looking into this like one study, and it was talking about how actually like if you were to put things on a graph, we are an upward trajectory of that. Teenagers are having worse acne. So I wonder if it's an environmental thing.
Like a school, like not school, like a diet or like anything. Like,
well, yeah, I wonder if it's, the chemicals that are getting put in our food, or if it's the chemicals we're breathing in the air. Like all of these things
pollution.
About like our world's just gotten so much shittier. And
interesting.
Just, like, or things that are in our water even. Like all of these little things that we might have just been born into. And like, so
I wonder.
I don't know. They're definitely, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, because you think of.
Well, we laughed about this for a long time. I'm sure we shared this on the podcast when it was going on, but we had joked about how everything is so overcomplicated now, like 7-step skincare routines and 7 different cleansers and 8 different, like whatever. And then we joked because Jack and I were stuck in New York and then went to LA last year, and I forgot my face wash. And so I started this routine of just water, just literally clothing off at the end of the day with just water, and my skin was like perfect. And we had this ongoing joke about how
you were just washing it with
I was just
water.
like, it's just water. And then we'd like drive by a body of water, and Jaclyn would be like, hey, there's your skincare routine. Like we had this ongoing joke. But I do wonder, like, is simple better? Like, and to be fair, I've obviously fallen back into my habits, and I obviously use cleanser, but I do wonder, like, if I went back to total basics and just, you know, used one, like a bit of water and one simple moisturizer. Like,
I honestly think a lot of skincare is marketing. And I hate to say that, because I do think the world of skincare is so fun, and I do enjoy it just for like a pampering kind of standpoint.
Me too.
But I do think that it's a lot of tactics to just like get dollar bills,
I guess.
And I think there are specific ingredient benefits, and like there's no denying that salicylic acid is great for acne. There's no denying that fragrance-free products is better for sensitive skin.
Yeah.
All these types of things. But I do think like eye cream, that's not a necessary product. Sure, you can use it, but you don't need an eye cream.
Right.
Like that's not.
So, like, do you need like a toner, an oil, an eye cream? Like these truly like 7 to 10 step solutions. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
And then that's the thing too. It just becomes a cycle. And I know this was me when I had acne. It's like, oh, I'm going to try another product then to get rid of it. Oh, then I'm going to put something else to combat that. And then you end up just trying 8 million things. And no wonder your skin is even more inflamed.
I know.
Because you have so many, not even conflicting ingredients, but you have just like
how do I create a brand out of just water for skin?
Water.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, but in the same breath that I say that, I absolutely do have go-to skincare brands. Do you have some that you like absolutely love? Yeah. So I've been really conscious. Like I'm trying to do a huge overhaul with my whole collection to make sure that everything is vegan. Yeah. And it's something that maybe people would be surprised about, that I don't already have a vegan collection of skincare and makeup. Right. A lot of the stuff I had back for my makeup days, and just whether it's free PR that has come in that I've used. There's a lot of products that I love, but they just are not 100% vegan, which sucks. So I try not to promote that. But, you know, sometimes it is hard. So I am in the process right now of trying to dwindle out all the things that aren't 100% vegan. True. I have to say, Dermalogica has done a great job of being cruelty-free and vegan, and I genuinely love their brand. Me too. So I do really like them. Like, pre-cleanse I will always love for makeup removing. There's a few like special cleansing gel from Dermalogica I like. Just like honestly Dermalogica in general to me is like such a go-to skincare. Yeah, and I feel like I've used it for quite a long time. Me too. What I do genuinely really love as well is Clinique. And Clinique isn't cruelty-free because they do sell in China, so that is something that I personally struggle with. Right. But what I do tell myself, at least to give myself peace of mind and like not feel like a horrible person, is that I mean, I do deal with a medical condition on the daily of acne, and if having clear skin, I'm going to have to use specific products. That's just kind of what I've got to do. So, I mean, I'm hoping obviously brands like that move in the direction of being 100% cruelty free, because that would just be, it's kind of the necessary move. Is Clinique vegan? They have maybe some vegan formulas, but they don't have that cruelty free stamp. It's not the stamp. So, okay, got it.
Yeah, so that's like one thing that's a little interesting, but I do genuinely like love their products.
Right.
I was using Proactive for a bit back. I was doing a
Yeah.
campaign with them, and honestly, Proactive does work. It
Yeah.
bleaches your clothes though, which is interesting, but it does get rid of, like, even this past week when I was struggling with those breakouts, I
Yeah,
just
you were
popped that
using
on
that.
my zits, and I swear to God, in 2 days they were dried out and gone.
Crazy.
So, but I also am someone, that being said, those are my staples in my like in my pantry, in my vanity.
Yeah.
But I try so many different things. I do, and that's bad. I shouldn't be cycling as much, but I
Right.
try so many different things.
Yeah, interesting.
What about you? What are you using these days?
Oh my God, that scared me.
What was that?
It was just my, something fell in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
That freaked me
It
out.
sounded like someone was coming in the house.
Oh, we thought someone was going to break in. Yeah, Dermalogica, definitely a go-to. I feel like like pre-cleanse is always in my collection. I love Corelli. I've always loved Corelli. I love their products. I love that like French scent. Like I love their smell. Like I actually don't hate like light fragrance. I don't like super, super strong fragrance for my face, but I like that like clean smell that
Their
they
beauty
have.
elixir is
Yeah, they have like beautiful like elixirs and oils, and I like their moisturizers, and it's like it's meant for my skin type. Like I feel like their skincare is like very good for my skin type. So I've always really liked Corelli. I also really love Fresh. I use the soy cleanser like basically every day.
same. That's what's in my
Yeah, that's
shower.
my
I
like
use it every day right
shower
now.
wash. So yeah, like I mean I do feel like I switch it up sometimes, but those are probably my 3 like staple brands for skincare. Those are like my favorite at least.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like skincare is something that, like, I don't know, I just get so excited by it, and I wish I didn't cycle through as much as I did.
I
Like,
know.
I wish I was like, this is the only cleanser I'm ever
I
using. This is the
know.
only moisturizer.
I know.
I have been good, though. I will say something that I used to not do, and I know this is so bad, is that I would not wear SPF.
Oh,
But
yeah.
over the past year, I've been good. I wear it pretty much every single day.
Yeah, I
which is
feel
pretty
like
good.
I've gotten better with my SPF too. Like I do try and either have it built into my moisturizer, or I'll just be better about putting it on.
Yeah.
I'm not as good in the winter, I'll be honest, but which is funny because I know it's just as important.
Yeah.
But like on a hot day, I definitely am.
Oh, I'm way better. I
Yeah.
agree.
But my 50-year-old self will be mad that I just probably started that in recent years,
I know.
not 10 years ago.
I know, you do think, and like this is what brings me back to the whole, like, is skincare a scam? Which obviously I don't think it all is, but is it because you look back at other generations and they look just fine? Like we are told, like it almost preys on
Innovation and creativity and the latest in skincare.
yeah. Well, it
and-
almost I feel like preys on the like patriarchal society that we live in the sense that it's like you will only have value if you're beautiful. You only have value if you're young and youthful. If you have a wrinkle, if you get old, then you have no place in society. And like that is like low-key the underlying message if we really want to look back at it.
Yeah.
So it's like, is all of this skincare just based on that? And just, I don't know. And like
Well,
part
it
of it,
is.
I think
It is very funny, and I agree with you in the sense that my dad, like I won't say their ages, but my parents are, up there in age, but young and still at the same time. But they both look very youthful. And my dad obviously does nothing, like in terms of, however, I will say he's always been very good with sunscreen. So yes, that may be something. So that's one step collection to have nice, clear skin as an adult and to look 10 years younger than you actually are. Whereas, my mom, I feel like is like, where's my next oil and my next, like, all these creams just to like, it's all anti-aging. So I do think it's also funny the pressure that women feel more intensely than men, especially at that age, for reversing aging.
that is even the whole word itself. It's like, I have such issue with that. Like anti-aging. The fact that
know.
we're sold anti-aging products.
The
It's
fact
like,
that
come
I
on.
even have products that
Yes.
say anti-aging and we're 24, it's
I
like,
know.
come on. Like,
know.
I hope my skin looks like I'm in my 20s. I hope my skin looks like I'm, young.
I know.
It is
so weird.
very interesting.
I don't know. I do definitely like dream of one day. Like I am so interested by the science of skincare and stuff. Like I just would love, there's so much clutter in the skincare
I
world.
agree.
And that's what I hate. And a lot of people are in it for their own personal gain or their company's whatever revenue. And
But
it's
do you
not
feel,
actual.
why is makeup any different? It's not.
I don't think makeup is, I agree. I think obviously there's a huge market there, but I think skin is different in the sense that it's more, maybe just more that it's, medical. Like,
I guess. I
Like,
don't
I
really
think-
see it like that. I honestly put them in the same category.
I guess I do. Like, I guess preying on insecurity, sure. Like, oh, buy this makeup, you'll feel prettier. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I agree that marketing has happened, and that's obviously awful too. But I think with skincare, there's a lot of like science jargon that try to trick people into buying certain things about.
Yeah.
new innovation. And I don't know, it just feels, especially when it comes to skin, that's like, yeah, your skin health, it's your biggest organ.
Yeah.
It's how, like, we have not, I mean, there's so many different ways you can think about it, like whether it comes to clean beauty, like all these horrible things that we're doing that we necessarily as a consumer aren't aware of. We're just like being marketed to, and whether it's misleading or like, I don't know. It really
How do you feel about clean beauty and how they present that in the market?
I think clean beauty is kind of a bit of like a sham in the sense
It's a sham. Use water, kids.
Well, no, like I just think it is kind of like a gimmicky thing in the sense. It's like people saying, oh, we're going to go to the supermarket and buy superfoods.
But don't they have to get like a stamp for, like, I understand it is obviously made up for marketing, and it's a way to put things in a category to say this is clean beauty and, you know, this is how we do it. But
so there's not actually like the FDA doesn't like overlook clean beauty.
Was I with you when we were chatting about that app where you put in the name of the product and then it tells you how it gives you a rating of how dirty or clean it is? Yeah.
I don't know. So like there's definitely, again, I think it comes from a positive place that consumers want to be more aware of ingredients. And I've definitely even used the terminology like of saying, oh, this is a clean product. But the more that I actually have done research into it, I do think it is kind of like the marketing, the same sense, like I was saying, superfoods. Like a superfood doesn't exist, but we're told acai and quinoa are superfoods. Yeah. That doesn't really actually, matter. A superfood isn't a thing.
Right.
So I think it's kind of in that category of like, oh, it's clean beauty, but
it's like creating your own
SLS
rules.
is bad to one brand, whereas SLS is okay to another brand. So there is a lot of flex with that, but I do think that it makes consumers more apt to, or adept to be, like reading a label.
To purchase,
reading a label and at least being aware, which I do think that is a positive thing. And I think brands are less likely to get away with putting filler ingredients and things like that because we are smarter consumers. So I do think it's a good thing, but I do think using that as a huge marketing ploy is a little bit like gimmicky, but
I will say it's interesting that how much brands can almost not with marketing get away with it not being clean, but it's been interesting from our side of the business to be able to like play with different skincare products. But TikTok has actually done a really great job of this sort of like putting brands and specific products on blast and saying, hey, this product that's marketed like this is actually so bad because of X, X, and X. And there was a few products that I saw this year that like were definitely in my collection and I just used and enjoyed. And then I would see these kind of videos and I would think, oh my goodness, like I didn't even realize that.
I know. I feel like I've gone through every single wave of skincare. It's like almost like the diet culture of skincare, like all the different waves of like, at one point I was like, natural is best. I only want to be using natural. But also, what does natural mean? Like, there's all of these weird different communities of skincare and people thinking what's right.
Natural,
so I've done it
clean,
all. I've done like the like back when I was like 15, I was like, coconut oil is my savior.
Yeah.
That is not the answer, I can tell you that. But I thought at one point it was.
Right.
And then I went, okay, natural is the best thing. But it was full of essential oils and that's not,
right.
It's inflammatory to my sensitive skin.
Right.
And then I went the whole like medical, like I've done every single thing. And now I'm just more.
And now we can just tell you that water is it.
And now we can tell you that water is it. Don't buy a million things. Keep it simple, but also I want to give a shout out to Skincare by Hiram. I mean, obviously, I'm sure all of you know who that is on YouTube. Just absolute legend. And I feel like he has made me a lot more informed. And his slogan is ingredients don't lie. And that is the truth. So
that is so true.
Ingredients don't lie.
Ingredients don't lie. And in the same breath, I will say I do love skin. Like I feel like it's hard in our industry because as much as, I don't know, like as much as I am not brand loyal the same way that I'm not with makeup really. I do have favorites and I do find with skin I am pickier more than makeup.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I would be like, if someone gave me a choice of using Dermalogica or I don't know, some random, who knows, example like L'Oreal, I'd be like, okay, no, I definitely want Dermalogica.
Actually, that brings up a good question. Do you trust makeup brands that also do skincare? Because I am more likely to trust just a skincare brand versus a makeup brand that also has a skincare range, which makes no sense. But
yeah, I guess so. I agree with that. I think most of the skincare brands that I love and rely on are
just a
categorically skincare brands. Yeah.
It just makes me believe that like they know what they're doing better. I'm like, well,
yeah, or maybe they're not diversifying as much. So you hope that they're putting more money and R&D into the skincare as opposed to diversifying their product range.
Actually, that makes me think too about all of the funny skincare things maybe that you've done growing up. I know I was a huge, like, I was always into beauty and skincare and DIY and all that stuff. So as a kid, when I couldn't buy all these products, I would DIY all the time, which, I look back and it was not good for my skin, but I would do like honey face masks and like avocado mash with
Did you
oatmeal and...
Did you see Kendall Jenner's Vogue interview with the...
Yeah. Actually, it brought me back. I was like, oh, I used to do that all the time. I used to make videos on my YouTube of like DIY face masks and like all this stuff.
That's so funny.
And there is like a place, like I still will do a DIY sugar lip scrub or something if I need to, but like I used to just like put literally like the kitchen sink on my face and I was like pampering. Like, but I would have fun doing it. It was,
I guess, yeah. It's
maybe
like
a little chemist in my kitchen at like 11.
That's
Did you ever do anything like that or like?
No.
Oh, did you ever do like the cucumber eyes and like masks and?
Honestly, no. But this goes back to my hatred for arts and crafts. Like that's not something I loved always like sheet masks and going to the spa, but that was more it. Like I wouldn't DIY it. Yeah.
That's so telling. You're a sheet mask person and I'm the DIY mask.
Yeah, I would love going to Shoppers to get the sheet masks.
And I hate sheet masks.
Oh my God. We would always do those. So they had those deals at Shoppers back when I was a kid. They had those little like, you know, the pouches.
Yeah.
And so my friend and I, we would get the hair one and the skin one. And we'd do the hair mask and the skin mask. Yeah. And they were like $1.99. Like I don't know what we were putting on our face, but like sketchy.
No, I used to get these like clay.
I think they were no name. Like,
no, dude, literally same. I used to get these clay like squeezy, like same little packet, but it was
that's
a
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't a sheet mask. But like
some of them were, but yes, most of them were like liquids.
Yes, yeah. And I would get it at like the dollar store, and it would like some of them would dry. You'd have to like peel it off, and it was so painful. Like, I did so many weird things, but I was just so into like experimenting with it.
Again, that's the problem, taking advantage of great skin when you're like 12 years old and you absolutely don't need a mask.
Why did I get acne? It's like 'cause I was putting so much crap on my face.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
LOL skincare. Well, let us know down below what your top skincare products are. What are your ride or dies?
We love to hear it.
I'm always I could try something new.
I'm always open, but we've named our favorites, I guess. We've given our love to the products we love, so.
Wow, that was a lot of skincare cheddar.
It really was, but I kind of love it.
No, I love talking about all this stuff. Should we hop into roses and thorns?
Yes.
Okay. You want to go first?
Oh, okay.
I wasn't ready for me to go first.
Okay, a rose is that, oh my God, it's crazy.
Thorn, thorns go first. Come on.
A thorn. Okay, a thorn is that, honestly, I don't know what show I'm going to get into when Grey's Anatomy ends. So this is my thing. I'm on season 15. And I know I've like actually caught up in the first season of quarantine, meaning when this all happened last March, I really caught up. Like I started from the beginning and like now I've made it to season 15. But now it's weird because it's actually live on the air right now. So I'm kind of stressed.
Wait, it still exists?
Yes, live episodes every week. So I'm getting stressed because I obviously follow E! News and all the like companies.
Oh, so you would get the alerts.
So I'm getting alerts about like what's currently happening. And I'm like, no. Okay, now I need to just like catch up so that I'm not, because I keep seeing like things that are ruining it.
On.
Yeah.
How is that on?
Longest running TV show. She's the highest paid actor, Ellen Pompeo.
How much did she get an episode?
Oh God.
Like over $1 million?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like $5 million episode.
Ellen is killing it. Let's look it up. This is another thorn. Ellen Pompeo making more money than anybody. But to be fair, I love her, so I'm down. Ellen Pompeo's salary per episode. Let us see. Oh, not even $1 million. $20 million a year. I mean, hey.
So $575,000 per episode. I mean, not bad.
Oh no, that was in season 14.
Oh, what are we on right now?
17. She's definitely
probably
making like
episode.
Maybe a little less than $1 million, but
I swear to God, Friends was getting paid like
$1 million.
$1 million an episode,
but
right?
they all were getting $1 million. I think they had negotiated so that everyone had equal pay.
Look, I heard this is the story that I've heard. I don't know if it's right. I heard that Ross, what's his name in real life? David Schwimmer.
Yeah.
I heard that he was like the most popular Friends character at the time, so they offered him the biggest rate, and he goes, this is going to tear us apart if we all have different rates. Like, that's not in the best interest of the show's longevity.
Aww.
So he brought that forward to the rest of the team and said, we all need to go in and ask for the same thing, and like we all need to walk out with the same rate. So then they did that. And that's why, I mean, again, I could have just made that up, but that's what I believe to be true.
I know for sure they were all paid equal pay. Yeah. I didn't know it was David Schwimmer that made that happen.
Our boy David.
But hey, I mean,
but Ellen is not doing bad from what we're seeing over here.
Ellen is killing it. So anyways, that's kind of a thorn because I hate that I'm getting the like updates even though like, you know, so hopefully I'll catch up. And a rose is that, I'm excited for like Christmas movies. Like I know this is all about content. Like maybe you can make yours about something else, but I feel like I want to like watch Elf and then get those, you know, the cookies from the grocery store, like the Pillsbury ones that have the Christmas tree. Like I just have a vision. Yeah. So like that would be a rose, and then a final.
Sounds like a rosebud to me, but
something I'm looking forward to. Okay, that's maybe my rosebud and my rose, and then a final. So I'll just do one final rose. Final rose is that. Ooh, I will. Oh, I've been really good about making my bed lately. It's been great.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Making it every day?
I'm making it every day. And I got really soft sheets, so I feel like I'm in a Four Seasons right now.
Oh, what
Yeah.
sheets?
My mom got them for me. I don't know where she got them, and they sat in my car for 6 months, classic Torri energy. And then I finally got them out of my car, and I washed them, and I put them on my bed, and Adam goes, oh my God, we can never change these.
Oh
They're
my
so
God.
soft.
Classic Torri can live out of her car if she needed to. Okay, so a thorn is, I forgot my mic coming here today, and we are just, filming the most episodes, and I just didn't have a mic, so
Wow.
that was not good. But the rose of that, okay, I'm going to get into a little side tangent. I have a theory that whenever I do something wrong or I'm like, oh, wish I had 10 more minutes, or anything of life where I go, where I stop and hesitate. Life actually works out for me. And let me explain this to you. So say this would be, oh my God, I'm running late. I wish I just had 30 more minutes and I would be 10 times more prepped for this next thing I have to do. And then I'll get a text or an email from that client saying, hey, we're running late. Any chance you could do a half an hour later? And I'd be like, did I just manifest it? How did that happen? And I swear to God, this always happens. Is this the Jaclyn Juju? It may be. Today, silly example, I get to Tours and I go, oh my God, Tor, I just brought everything except for the podcast mic. This is annoying. We're going to have to go back to my house. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Tor was super nice. She's like, it's okay. I'll drive you back. No big deal. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, that was so dumb. Now I'm just wasting 30 minutes. Oh my God, this is so annoying. As I get there, I've been waiting on this specific snowboard delivery, and it must have just been perfect timing. I walk in there, and then the courier service is down in the lobby trying to drop it off. And I guess for some reason, this snowboard was too big that the concierge wouldn't accept it. They were kind of maybe giving them a bit of troubles. So this courier was standing there for 15 minutes, not knowing what to do. And he said he didn't have my phone number, so we didn't know what to do with it. So I think he would have just taken it and then not delivered it. And I've been waiting for this snowboard. So I get in there, and I was like, sir, that's my snowboard. He goes, are you Jaclyn? I go, yes. So that was actually the reason why we had to go back. So it all works out. So the rose is,
yeah, she literally entered and then
exited with a snowboard.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Yeah.
And with a mic. So in the end, it all worked out.
It really did. So that was definitely a rose. And I just got to give a big shout out to the universe for that one.
Thank you.
Another rose is, oh my God, I had the best vegan Chinese food last night. It was also so cheap. Shout out to Greens Vegetarian.
Shout out to a restaurant we don't know
I forgot your name. Greens Vegetarian in Kensington?
Okay.
Something like that. If you Google that, I'm sure it'll come up. I've had it once or twice before. They are pretty much all vegan, but all vegetarian. And they did the most insane vegan chicken balls with sweet and sour sauce. And oh my God, it was so good. I just haven't had that in such a long time. So it really just hit the spot. And a rosebud, something I'm looking forward to, is going snowboarding. I don't know when. I don't know if it'll be possible, but hopefully.
We were saying Adam, my boyfriend, and Jaclyn are going to go together because they're equal level of talent, and I'll just après ski in the corner.
We'll join you at some point. Wow, I'm feeling so ready to wash my face after today's convo.
Oh my God. Let's scrub it up, Deb, with the ocean water. Okay,
this has been a podcast, Poddy Talk podcast, shit talk ourselves, Jack and Tor.
Oh my God.
That made my brain hurt.
Yeah. You honestly have been ruining the intro and outro so much lately. Just
I've been having a bit of mental delay and I've been slurring my words a little bit.
Thanks for listening. We love you. We'll see you next time if we make it to the next time.
Bye guys.